In Connecticut bars and restaurants. Plus, the Yukon women get ready for a date in the Sweet 16. Eyewitness News NightBEAT is coming up next.
Doppler 3000 is so accurate, Bradley Airport relies on it. Now, Eyewitness News NightBEAT.
A baby found abandoned on the roadside raises new questions about what the state should do to protect its youngest citizens. There are still many unanswered questions tonight surrounding an abandoned baby found in Greenwich. Police are searching for the mother who gave birth just a few hours before leaving the newborn on a cold, wet street on Thursday. Even though Connecticut has a law to prevent this from happening, some say that law is not working. Channel 3's Susan Raff has the latest.
He was left on a cold, wet street, but surprisingly, this 5-pound, 5-ounce baby boy is healthy and is doing well at Greenwich Hospital. In the meantime, the search for the newborn's mother continues.
The officers returned down to the area of Byram Shore Road in 3 different groups. We're handing out flyers in the area, stopping people going and coming from work, trying to develop whatever information they could.
The baby was left on the side of the road in the Byram Shore neighborhood of Greenwich. It's also very close to Interstate 95.
I would say that probably somebody got off the thruway and probably just left the baby and didn't know what to do. And they knew they could go way quickly.
As police tried to find out who abandoned this infant and why, some Connecticut lawmakers feel this tragedy could have been avoided.
I'm disappointed that we haven't made it known because we were lucky yesterday, but we may not be as lucky tomorrow with another baby.
Representative Ann Dandro helped create the state's safe haven law, which allows mothers to drop off their new babies at emergency rooms without fear of prosecution. Women don't have to give their names, and they have 30 days to change their mind. But some say the law isn't any good unless women know about it.
They should be right now being proactive, come forward, and put out public service announcements that describe the safe havens legislation that we passed last year.
Some are blaming the Department of Children and Families for not doing enough and not getting the word out. Under fire, DCF says it's pushing up the release of a new brochure which outlines this new law. Susan Raff, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And speaking of those brochures, DCF plans to make about 65,000 of them available in both English and Spanish. As for the baby, he is in DCF custody, and next week legal action will get underway to make him a ward of the state. A Florida man was sentenced to prison today in the death of a 3-year-old Connecticut boy. James Curtis was given a 13-year, 8-month prison sentence for manslaughter in a plea agreement in the death of Alex Boucher. Curtis was Boucher's foster father, who was in the process of adopting him. In a blistering report released this week, DCF was blamed for not protecting the child. A Vernon man suspected in up to 16 armed robberies in Vernon and Manchester was arraigned today on the Vernon charges. 50-year-old Ronald Strano was arrested yesterday. He's accused of 10 holdups in Vernon alone. Tonight he's being held on $1 million bond. State lawmakers want to take their current ban on smoking in public buildings one step further. A bill is on its way to the Senate to prohibit smoking in bars and restaurants. Channel 3's Lou Martinez has more now on this controversial legislation.
Lighting up seems so natural for many people enjoying a drink. Lawmakers want to break that habit. The Public Health Committee has approved an anti-smoking bill that would ban people from lighting up in bars, restaurants, and dormitory rooms.
We know the dangers of secondhand smoke. We certainly understand people's right to smoke, but we just think that as a state we need to have a health policy that respects people's ability to be free from secondhand smoke.
State law now requires restaurants with 75 seats or more to provide a non-smoking section. Many people who enjoy the occasional cigarette would like the law to stay that way.
I would prefer to go out to a bar and at least be able to have a cigarette while I'm drinking. So no, I wouldn't vote yes on the bill.
I really don't care. I think people are free. Of course, I am smoking, with them, 70%. I don't like that.
So you don't like the secondhand smoke?
No.
California passed a similar bill several years ago. Lawmakers plan to use a report in that bill to influence their colleagues. The bill states California businesses have not seen a decline in revenue because of the smoking ban.
I think, in fact, you might find more people going to bars and restaurants now that they know that they'll be in a smoke-free environment.
The Public Health Committee has already signed off on the bill. It will go off to the Senate for a vote in the next couple of weeks, and then off to the House. Sponsors of the bill do expect some resistance from lawmakers. In Hartford, Lou Martinez, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Now, some members of the Public Health Committee did call the ban overly broad, but supporters believe it's important to send a message about the health risks of secondhand smoke. There are new concerns tonight over mad cow disease and the threat to humans in Colorado tonight. A hospital says 2 patients died from Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, an illness similar to mad cow disease. Spokesperson says at least 6 other patients may have been exposed to disease through surgical instruments. Closer to home tonight, a second flock of sheep feared infected with a form of mad cow has been seized in Vermont. Federal agents took 120 sheep from a farm in East Warren this morning. They're being taken to a federal facility in Ames, Iowa, where they will be slaughtered and then examined for any signs of the disease. About 24 protesters briefly blocked the road to prevent a truck carrying the sheep from moving. While the farmers insist the sheep are healthy, the agriculture agents say they had to act.
What we're doing today is a move to essentially safeguard American agriculture. We're removing the sheep, and we do actually understand what's happening here today, and we have deep sympathy, but it's something we feel is necessary in order to protect American agriculture.
It's definitely not the end. We definitely will make sure that the truth comes out. I can't believe they had to kill him.
2 days ago, a flock of sheep was seized from a farm in Greensboro, Vermont, also because of mad cow concerns. President Bush is moving to strengthen an anti-abortion measure. Advisors say Bush will issue a new order barring U.S. foreign aid for groups that offer abortion information and services. Earlier this week, senators from both parties introduced legislation seeking to overturn the ban. Police in El Cajon, California are revealing more about a possible motive in that school shooting there yesterday. Investigators now say 18-year-old Jason Hoffman was targeting a vice principal. Also today, a classmate came forward to report that earlier this year, Hoffman made a reference to the Columbine High School massacre and pretended to fire at students, simulating a gun in his hands. Others say Hoffman always seemed angry.
Through school, and he always seemed kind of angry. At the end of the semester, some girls were being really loud, and he made his hands into like guns and started making noises and saying, "I wish I could do Columbine all over again."
Hoffman remains hospitalized with a broken jaw and a wound to his buttocks. It's expected he'll be charged with attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon. Tonight, the board that will oversee the city of Waterbury's finances is now in place. Today, Governor Rowland named the president of the Waterbury Teachers Association and 3 Waterbury business owners to oversee the board. They'll join 3 others already named to the panel, the state's budget director and treasurer, and Waterbury Mayor Philip Giordano. The board meets for the first time on Tuesday. Waterbury's mayor apparently owes the city some money. The city filed a lien against Giordano last month on property he co-owns. According to the delinquent tax office, the mayor owns about $117 in overdue sewer and water fees. Giordano says he didn't know about the lien, but plans to take care of the bills right away. Many of you saw Sweet 16 action from the men's NCAA tournament. Tomorrow, it is the women's turn. The NCAA tournament has taken the UConn women to Pittsburgh for a date with North Carolina State. Channel 3's Eric Clemens is in the Steel City with the Huskies and their fans. Here's his report.
The defending national champion UConn women arrived earlier today here at Mellon Arena for practice, and along with them, of course, came one of the largest media contingents in the nation, of which I'm a part, and also some of the nation's biggest diehard fans, some of whom could earn a paycheck as a scout. So what do you think? You think UConn has a good chance of making it out of here back to the Final Four?
Oh, absolutely. We're watching Missouri practice now. They're a nice Cinderella team, but I think La Tech's going to take care of them tomorrow, and then we're going to take North Carolina, and it's going to be an interesting game Monday night.
I think if Shuey is on and playing some good D and hitting a little bit of offense, I think we got a definite shot going all the way.
And you think there's going to be a couple blowouts?
Yeah, I think UConn will beat whoever they play.
We'll beat them and beat them fairly easily.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're going to be right. You going to go to St. Louis if they get to the Final Four? No, can't miss that much school. No.
I wish we could.
I bet you do.
No competition.
Even with the 2 players injured?
Even with the 2 players injured, and even if we have to face Notre Dame again, I'll have to get up the last 2 minutes and walk out of that game because I won't be able to watch it.
Of course, everyone expects a lot of UConn fans to be on hand tomorrow because of Swin Cash, who's from nearby McKeesport, Pennsylvania. But first things first, before we award a national championship, UConn must get by a tough 4th-seeded NC State team. More on that matchup a bit later on in sports. From Pittsburgh, I'm Eric Clemens, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And again, Joe will preview the game coming up later in sports. After years of disappointing harvest, things are looking up for Connecticut's lobster catch. Still to come here on the Night Beat, why Connecticut's crustacean population may finally be on the rebound. Just 2 days and counting until Hollywood hands out the hardware on Oscar night. Find out why the winner with the shortest speech will take home more than just a statuette.
And it's the first weekend of spring. It's actually already begun. Will it be spring-like or winter-like? I'll have the answer in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News Night Beat on Channel 3. From Hartford's historic Colt Building to Mashantucket to Woodbury, this is Connecticut's news station.
Monday morning on Eyewitness News starting at 5.
Do you want to get a raise? Find out some simple things you can do before walking into your boss's office to increase the chances of walking out with a bigger paycheck. That plus all the morning's news, time-saver traffic, and weather forecasts every 10 minutes on the 3s.
Monday morning on Eyewitness News starting at 5. Border to border, person to person, Channel 3 Eyewitness News is Connecticut's news station. You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News Night Beat with Denise DeCinzo, Dennis House, Miles Muzio, and Joe Tessitore. This is Connecticut's news station.
There's some hopeful news tonight about the lobster population in Long Island Sound. The Department of Environmental Protection says recent lobster trawls are turning up many small lobsters in the eastern part of Long Island Sound. And surveys also show lobster egg production has also improved. Over the last 2 years, Connecticut lobstermen have been devastated by a massive lobster die-off. Mystic Aquarium is facing new questions about the quality of care its animals receive. The death earlier this month of Misty the dolphin follows the recent deaths of 2 beluga whales and 2 other dolphins. Experts at the aquarium stress the animals are well cared for and that the deaths, mostly attributed to bacterial infections, are an unfortunate series of unrelated events.
We take samples, blood samples and cultures from the animal, and they're sent to a variety of different labs across the country for analysis. And we do get answers, and we usually are able to learn from each and every individual case.
They do everything they can to help these animals. So, I mean, it's sad when you hear about it happening, but, I mean, for every one you hear a bad thing about, there's dozens more that they help.
And the aquarium says information from the deaths is shared with other marine experts in hopes of finding better treatments or cures. State Attorney General Richard Blumenthal is adding his voice to those calling for an end to controversial anthrax vaccinations. Blumenthal says people in the military are being used as guinea pigs and their health is being put at risk. The Attorney General is urging the Bush administration to stop forced vaccinations. The military does require all troops to get the vaccine. They are pulling out all the stops for Hollywood's biggest night. Final preparations are underway for the Academy Awards extravaganza Sunday night.
A major makeover is underway at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. Taking center stage, Oscar. The entire lot is a hub of activity with construction crews using cranes, dropping cable, and yes, laying the red carpet.
This is a method I developed myself.
Nearby, florists are putting together thousands of bouquets, set designers study their blueprints, and supervisors rate the preps.
Everything's going great. We're ahead of schedule.
By Sunday night, the stage will be set for the stars to strut their stuff just in time for the buzz to begin.
It's got to be under my skin that I just could not go. I've even come by myself before and done the whole thing alone just because I just want to be here.
Tina Hernandez is so addicted to the Academy Awards, she's been camping out in her own Castaway set across the street from the shrine for more than a week.
It's worthwhile. We're first in line, and that's what it's all about. We like being first in line to get the best pictures possible.
Besides seeing the stars, fans will also get to see millions of dollars in jewels. Harry Winston is loaning more than $70 million worth to the stars, but so far, no word on who is wearing what.
Now, one big difference for this year's awards ceremony, the stars have an incentive to keep their speeches short and sweet. The producers are giving away a high-definition television set to the winner who gives the shortest acceptance speech. Maybe the ceremonies will actually get off on time. Will our weekend weather be winning any awards? Miles checks in next with the full forecast. Also ahead, we'll have this report.
Scooters are great, but this is twice the fun because it's electric, and I'm going to show you some electric bikes coming up, so stay with us. How's that, huh? The easy way to go.
Plus, he's back. After a season on the sidelines, controversial coach Bobby Knight has bounced back into college basketball. That and more after a check of a winning day on Wall Street.
Border to border, person to person, and one special time each year, basket to basket. Channel 3 Eyewitness News is Connecticut's news station. WFSB.com is your online source for Doppler 3000. Log on 24 hours a day for up-to-the-minute weather coverage. Doppler 3000 is so accurate, Bradley Airport relies on it.
Next Hollywood Squares, hang out with some of the funniest women on TV.
Okay.
Watch Essie Payther Murkison, Star Jones, and Tanya Roberts.
Next Hollywood Squares.
Monday night at 7:30 on Channel 3, Connecticut's news station.
Progressive Auto Insurance, not what you'd expect from an insurance company.